Oh, this is rich. Council for National Policy related stuff here. Canada's Prime Minister warns about a lot of Canada in the news today. Hey, thank you to all our Canadian listeners out there. I understand that there are a lot of you out there in Canada, just like here. You understand that not all of us from Texas or from the United States are illiterate, warmongering fucking asshats. I understand that you're all up there not all of you guys in Canada and gals in Canada are not, you're not all, hockey loving Bryan Adams listeners. I understand that. So I just want to make that clear. I've a lot of love for the Canadian people, and the Canadian people have a lot of love for me. They're our second biggest demographic for listenership. Unbelievable the amount of listenership that we have from Canada. So I want to make that crystal clear. But check this out. We know what a Zionist ideologically backed group the Council for National Policy is. Canadian Prime Minister Stephen Harper, who is a member of the Council for National Policy, suggested that his country's recent failure to secure a seat on the UN Security Council can be blamed on the government's support for Israel in the face of growing anti-Semitism or anti-sentiment. I mean, that's odd. You're part of a group full of card-carrying Zionists, buddy, and you're saying that the reason that Canada lost their seat in the UN Security Council is because of their support for Israel? You see, again, how many times have we pointed this out within groups within the CMP? You have one guy over here who is for one issue, then you have another guy over here who's against it. And what does that do? It causes cognitive dissonance and divide and conquer within their own little group, and then it gets the people splintered on these ideologies. That is one of the key foundations of what a group like the CMP does. Whether it's at the United Nations or any other international forum, the easy thing to do is simply just get along and go along with this anti-Israeli rhetoric. Harper told a two-day interparliamentary conference on combating anti-Semitism that is being held in the framework of Holocaust Education Week. Portugal won that coveted seat. Harper said that while Israel is receptive to fair criticism, Canada is obligated to stand up for its ally when it comes under attack from others. It's just sickening. Speaking of sickening, people, nobody's even noticed this. Everybody's been, oh God, this, that, and the other, and oh, the shooting, and oh my God, oh, the shooting, and guns are bad, and guns kill people, and we need to do away with guns. Meanwhile, these motherfuckers have been quietly renewing the Patriot Act behind the scenes. How come nobody's talking about this? Representative Mike Rogers has introduced a little-noticed bill that intends to once again renew controversial provisions of the Bush administration's USA Patriot Act that are due to expire this year. When the act was first signed into law, Congress put in some sunset provisions to quiet the concerns of civil libertarians, but they were ignored by successive extensions. Unfortunately, those concerns proved to be well-founded, and a 2008 Justice Department report confirmed that the FBI regularly abused their ability to obtain personal records of Americans without consent and without a warrant. The only real sign of a strong opposition to the act was in 2005, when a Democratic threat to its filibuster, its first renewal, was overcome by Senate Republicans. Since the bill introduced by Rogers on January 5th was virtually identical to the extension passed last year, its passage was seen as likely. So, everybody's been distracted yet again, as they always do. There they are, bringing that in through the back. Somebody in the chat room was asking, singer, female. Yeah, we have two female singers. We have my sister Jamie Reeves, who's one of the singers, and we also have Delphi, who's the other singer. And then I play drums. So yeah, there you go. Demigod, check us out. Let's see what else we got here to get into with you all tonight. We've got more here for you, and we've kind of got, oh my goodness gracious, I can't tell you what's going on. Hey, this is Bill Clinton. I'm taking over the broadcast today. Fuck everybody. I want a cigar. I want to put it in Monica's pussy right now. Fuck all y'all. Taking it over. Fuck off, Bill. God damn it. Always trying to bust in and take over the broadcast. This is interesting, and maybe you might have seen this. You might have seen this by this point or heard about this week, but there's several of these articles that I want to go over. So today's kind of a greatest hits of a lot of the news that I didn't get to cover the rest of the week. Russian team prepares to penetrate Lake Vostok. Lake Vostok, which has been sealed off from the world for 14 million years, is about to be penetrated by a Russian drill bit. The lake, which lies 4 kilometers below the city's icy surface of Antarctica, is unique in the fact that it's been completely isolated from the other 150 subglacial lakes on the continent for such a long time. It's called oligotropic, meaning that it's supersaturated with oxygen levels of the element that are 50 times higher than those found in most typical freshwater lakes. Since 1990, the Arctic and Antarctic Research Institute in St. Petersburg in Russia has been drilling through the ice to reach the lake, but fears of contamination of the ecosystem in the lake have stopped the process multiple times. Now, it makes you wonder what they're trying to drill down in there and find. You know, all these, you know, for years in science fiction, there's been all this, you know, talk about, you know, a UFO buried in the North Pole or whatever else. It makes you wonder why all of a sudden they're going to that much trouble of doing that and what exactly it is they're looking for down there. And here's another one. There's several of these that are very kind of interesting little. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about each one of them. I just want to mention them all because each one of them, that one included, kind of tie into some of the other, you know, quote unquote conspiracy theories or ideas that have been postulated about various things, especially concerning UFOs. That's one. And here's another one. This is from BBC News. Antimatter caught streaming from thunderstorms on Earth. A space telescope has accidentally spotted thunderstorms on Earth producing beams of antimatter. Now, that is highly interesting because there have been many cases. In fact, Story Musgrave, one of the NASA astronauts, a lot of this footage is out there on YouTube. You can see it. Chris Everard features it in some of his secret space films. And Story Musgrave caught this footage of these, what appear to be, well, they appear to me to be like organic life forms or beings. They don't really necessarily appear to be ships, but then again, how do we know they're not ships? Because, you know, our idea of what a ship is very skewed because our only frame of reference is what we've seen in science fiction and the movies and everything else. But some of these things appear to be almost like creatures swimming through space. And it almost gives you the appearance that space is not an empty void either, almost like space is like water or something. I mean, they just seem to swim, but they're very highly attracted to lightning storms and thunderstorms on Earth as if they just swarm around it. You can see it on this Story Musgrave footage. These UFOs, whatever they are, whether they're crafts or whether they're, you know, some sort of intelligent life form, they just seem to swarm around these thunderstorms and lightning. And about a year ago, I was standing outside and it was kind of thundering and lightning off in the distance. And I was looking up at the clouds as it was lightning. And boy, I tell you what, I was seeing all these little dots zip in under the clouds, just swarming and zipping into there. And it makes me wonder that, you know, is it possible that whatever is powering these things, whether they be some sort of organic creature, whether they be some sort of extraterrestrial craft or whatever else, I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to decide what you think it is. But it makes me wonder could this be the explanation for the type of propulsion systems that whatever these things are using? It's been postulated that these things are using antimatter and things like that to power them. Could this be the proof? Because again, we have official NASA footage of these things swarming over thunderstorms, swarming towards lightning. And now this story comes out on the BBC News saying that a space telescope has accidentally spotted thunderstorms on Earth producing beams of antimatter. Such storms have long been known to give rise to fleeting sparks of light called terrestrial gamma ray flashes. But results from the Fermi telescope show that they also give out streams of electrons and their antimatter counterparts, positrons. The surprise result was presented by researchers at the American Astronomical Society meeting in the U.S. So it does make me wonder if indeed that is the case. I mean, is it possible that these things are being powered by antimatter or some sort of other energy source we're not aware of. I mean, this kind of thing could be the key. And I'm sure that I'm sure DARPA and all the military industrial complex already has antimatter beams and all the rest of that stuff. Oh, they do. But again, the secrets to unlock the full potential of humanity are being hid from us, even though they're all around us very much all the time. We have the ability to find these things and start using them to our advantage. But when you have the powers that be dictating this, it makes it a lot more difficult to do that. But anyway, we're going to take a break and come back, and we'll get into more news and information tonight. Hell, we might even open up the phone lines. You never know. We'll see what happens. But stay with us, folks. This is The Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Oh, yeah, back here with you on the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thank you for being with us. And we've got more stuff to talk about with you here tonight on the broadcast, and we're going to be getting into it. I got to tell you, the majority of the time now, the show is going to be on our 11 to 2 time slot. But as I've stated from the beginning, I do have the option to call an audible and to do the show whenever I want. Sometimes, some days. We're still going to be doing the Moonbat shows on Thursday nights and stuff. But there's this week I've just been feeling mega burnt out. I need to go to the Asian massage place and you want a happy ending and something. I don't. But no, that's the whole thing. That's why we're doing the show at a different time today. But thanks to everybody for being with us. Somebody asked me if I think that in the chat room asked me if I think that what's my opinion of Jason Bonham. Anything close to the father? Yeah, I think it rub and tug. I can't even afford a rub and tug. But no, I think he does his dad justice. He's a great. I mean, he's a great drummer. And he plays a lot of the parts and gets a good. He does the parts perfectly. He doesn't quite have the big lead foot, thunderfoot that Bonzo had. But I would still love to see, they did the one-off concert at the O2 a couple of years ago. And they had, Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, Robert Plant, and Jason Bonham up there. And he plays a Ludwig Vista-like kit, very similar to the one that his dad played live, except it's a different color. I'd love to have one of those kits. Oh, man. They actually have the Jason Bonham kits out now, and they're like yellow and clear plexiglass. Oh, man, they're in the bottom sizes, 26-inch kit. Oh, it's a beautiful kit. Beautiful kit. I actually like the Jason Bonham kit. I like the look of it better than the... I just don't... I'm not... If I was going to get one of those Lucite kits, I wouldn't... I just don't like the orange. I actually have an orange... like $3K. Yeah, like $3,000, I think, is how much those Jason Bonham kits are. Yeah. I actually have a John Bonham kit myself, a replica kit of his. It's the Green Sparkle kit that he played. Well, the first song that he ever recorded on the Green Sparkle kit was When the Levee Breaks. And that was, of course, recorded at the former residence of Aleister Crowley. That big, boom, 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 with the big room mics and stuff. But on every recording after that in the studio, Bonham always played the Green Sparkle kit. Live, he played, early on, he played the natural kits, and then later on, he played the Green Sparkle a little bit live, right around the era of the third album. There's one video clip in particular you can see of them playing Immigrant Song, and you can see the Green Sparkle kit there. But in 2009, Ludwig actually made an affordable version of the Bonham kit. They called it the Zepp kit. The regular Bonham kits are normally $3,000. Well, they came out with an affordable version. They only made them in 1 year. To my knowledge, I got one of the only ones made in Green Sparkle. I've seen a bunch of the Silver Sparkle ones, But they did inform me at the factory when I got that. It was the last one that rolled out of that model. So, and I have to agree, it's a fabulous sound. It's not the classic maple kit. It's not, the rock maple kit that's $3,000. I'll probably, never be able to afford that. But man, I tell you, it's a great drum kit because the sizes are so big. You can, unlike a smaller drum kit, you basically tune it and it's going to sound that one way all the time. You can actually manipulate the sound of this drum kit because it's so big that the way you tune it in particular changes the sound of it. And it sounds very different far away from you than it does when you're very up close to it. And, the bass drum, actually, man, I'll be honest with you, I had to tame these drums down quite a bit. I've had to muffle them down a lot because if we were playing in huge stadiums and we had, stacks of Marshall amps behind us, I could run these drums wide open. But when you're playing small clubs and in small practice rooms with small amps, they tend to overpower everything. These aren't really, well, that's the whole thing, is there was never really a signature model of John Bonham drums. There still isn't. There was just these particular sizes. And the reason that they started using these particular sizes is because back in the 1970s, you didn't have PA gear that was up to the standards that it was up to now. And yeah, you're right. Most of Ben Joby said in the chat room says that, a lot of the, you're absolutely right. A lot of the Signature Series stuff that comes out from artists is crap. But you know what I've noticed? The musicians that I like, that I'm really into, that come out with Signature stuff, their stuff's actually really good. I played a Geddy Lee from Rush, a Geddy Lee Signature jazz bass a couple of weeks ago at Guitar Center. It was like $900. Man, that fucking thing played like a dream. I mean, an absolute dream. Because it had, it was already set up with the badass tube bridge. It was set up with the pickups, the good tuners, man, it just, and that's Danny Carey is another favorite drummer of mine. He's also an occultist, and no, it's not fretless. It's not fretless. It's a jazz bass. It's basically customized to Geddy specs. Oh man, it just plays like an absolute dream. I would love to have one of those. Oh, it's so awesome. But Danny Carey from the band Tool is another one of my favorite drummers, who's kind of carrying on that tradition of John Bonham and others. The stuff that he makes and puts his name on, I love it because it's actually usable. I use the Danny Carey sticks, and they have this taper in them that's cut out where you can hold them with your hands better and you don't drop them. And I've also got one of Danny Carey's mandala drums. It's easy. If you're a fan of Tool, you might see these strange octagon-looking electronic drums on Danny Carey's drum set. I actually have one of those. I had an electronic drum kit. I sold it till I could buy one of those, and it's so cool because you can. I mean, I have sitar sounds. I have all kinds of stuff. You can customize it to have that. Electronic drums. Well, electronic drums are very different than they were when they first came out in the late 70s, early 1980s. Back then, you had nothing but really you had the electroharmonic space drum, which was like this little drum thing. It went doo doo when you hit it. You had the Simmons drums that came out later on after that. It was the electronic kit. And Neil Peart from Rush actually started incorporating those into his drum set, into his, and then he had to invent the rotating riser where he could have the electronic drums behind him and the others. If you ever heard the song Red Sector A by Rush, you'll hear those drums feature very prominently. But the whole game has changed on that. Now, the new electronic drums that are out there now, like the Roland V drums, they use actual drum samples. And they use, you're actually triggering real drum sets and stuff now. So it's totally different now. Tool uses a lot of, they use a lot of occultic iconography. I haven't got the impression that they use it for anything negative. In fact, if you listen to really listen to Tool's lyrics, they really are coming from a place of only someone who has really studied the occult arts and the secret society arts would really be able to put the kind of stuff that they put in their lyrics. I wasn't a big Tool fan when I was younger, but as I got older, and I saw them a bunch of times when I was younger, but I was just never into them back then. I was into other stuff, but now as I've gotten older, I love them. Yeah, well, Danny Carey, his father was a Freemason, and he told this story where when he was about 12 years old, he walked in on his father doing a Masonic ritual with a sword, and he was doing this swooping motion. And if you watch videos of Danny Carey playing drums now, he admits that this swooping motion that he does with his drumsticks, and I've seen him do it, and I'm not afraid to tell you I've emulated this myself and stolen this myself because it's awesome. And I do it actually in two of the songs that we do with the Demigods. I do it in I think I do it in Roses for Revolution and Invisible Bridge. But it's this swooping motion where you go from the left to the right on the cymbals. And Danny Carey said that he actually, that's him mimicking this Masonic sword swooping thing. I got to tell you, man, it works. It's like you have power when you do it. It's like you're basically getting two cymbal hits on one beat. Does that make sense? It's the best way I can describe it. You're basically, instead of having you're getting in one, but still being on one beat. It's an amazing thing. Look, you guys got me talking about music now. That's why it's Free for All Friday, right? We get into anything, but I like that. I like the fact that we can just talk about anything and talk about music or whatever else. Cause I'm just as knowledgeable on music as I am with, the New World Order or the Illuminati or everything else. Yeah, so I always enjoy talking about music. Bluegrass. Well, yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with bluegrass. Can't make a living making bluegrass. Yeah, I guess you can. Oh man. But anyway, let's get back into some more news and other stuff here, other topics of discussion. I do appreciate the comments and the questions about music. I'm always happy to talk about whatever when it comes to that kind of stuff. Because it just, it consumes me. And I think that is if you're somebody out there who is been a musician or are a musician, and maybe you sort of because if you were following the Patriot paradigm for a long time or following the Truth paradigm for a long time, and maybe you were following Alex Jones on a regular basis or something, I can tell you from experience that when you get into that fear mindset and you're so worked up, and it does tend to happen when you're finding out about a lot of this stuff for the first time, and anybody can be drawn into it. It's hard to be immune from it. You kind of have to go through it and then come out on the other side better. But you can tend to stifle your creativity. You can tend to who is Dredge? I don't know who Dredge is. You can tend to sort of stifle your creativity, and because you're trying to focus on getting out information and that kind of stuff. But if you can find a way to incorporate information into what you're doing musically, it can be very fulfilling. I think that's what's great about the Demigods. What guitar player are you talking about? Dredgy? Who is that? Who are you talking about? Dredgy. I don't know. Do you have a first name? I'm just confused. I'm not familiar with the person Dredgy. I'd like to maybe try to answer your question. I'm pretty knowledgeable on guitars. Show me something, I can pretty much tell you what it is. I have a Wikipedia link. Dredge. American progressive. Oh, I've never heard of them before. I don't know who. I never heard of this band. Couldn't tell you. Don't know them. Sorry. Wish I could help, but I can't. Anyway, that's enough with the music stuff. Let's get back into some more hardcore news and information. That's what's important, right? That's what we're here to talk about. Oh, God. Oh, you know what? While we're on the subject of ridiculous stories, and we've been on a lot of ridiculous stories today, and everything's ridiculous at this point, isn't it? All of it. Listen to this. In the wake of the mass shootings in Arizona that left 6 dead and 1 congresswoman in the hospital, some Republican lawmakers seem to be worried about finding ways to protect themselves. Representative Dan Burton wants to enclose the House gallery in a transparent and substantial material such as plexiglass. Let me get this straight. They want to turn the entire House floor into the Pope Mobile? I remember back during the elections when they had, the inaugural ride and had the parade and everything. And they showed on the news, they had Biden and, all the people that were coming into office, Biden and Hillary Clinton and Obama and all the rest of them. And they were in this plexiglass container watching the parade go by. And it sort of dawned on me. It's like, why is it that they're just now, doing something like this as far as, why, you didn't see that during the Bush administration, but a lot of people hated Bush, but you didn't see Bush out in a plexiglass container. Did you know? So why was it that you had this administration that hadn't even been sworn in yet, that had just gotten elected, that were in some sort of plexiglass container? It just didn't make any sense to me. And, I think that was a signal of things to come. I think they had already been planning. Maybe they were planning something before that's just now coming to fruition. I don't know. But it is interesting nonetheless. So, you guys have seen the Pope Mobile. That's the most ridiculous fucking thing you ever seen in your life. And what are they going to do? Start rolling around? You guys, this is the whole thing. This is what sickens me about this. These guys kill the economy. They kill countries. They kill the environment. They kill everything because they're not creators. They're destructors. That's their job. And then once the people of the world start to figure out the game and have now figured out that is the game, and death and destruction and everything else is the game. Well, now they want to, now they're like, oh, well, now we need to hide ourselves and everything else. Oh, seriously? You've never seen the Pope Mobile? Come on, man. Everybody's seen the Pope Mobile. There's the Pope Mobile right there. Look at it. It's a fucking Mercedes with a plexiglass enclosure in it, and they roll the fucking Pope around in it like he's a goddamn circus attraction. And it's got bulletproof glass in it. Fucking thing's armored to the hilt. In case somebody tries to fucking take the Nazi Pope. It's fucking great. I'm not even kidding you, dude. I tell you, the first time, it's funny because Rick's never seen it before. But I tell you what, Rick, first time I saw that thing, I swear to God, first time I saw it, I thought it was fake. I thought somebody was pulling my leg. I thought somebody was yanking my fucking chain for sure. I was like, man, there's no way that's real. Somebody said, no, man, I'm serious. They got this like armored Mercedes with a little plexiglass box on it, and they put the fucking Pope in it and roll him around so people can see him. You've got to be shitting me. Oh yeah, man, it's sitting on 18th, fool. Yeah, you're right. They should get some better rims for the Pope Mobile. My God. Put some twanks on that thing or something. Jeez. Put some fucking hydraulics in there so the Pope's little head can bounce around and hit the ceiling. That'd be awesome. Just mutter some shit in fucking Italian at your ass. Ah, damn that evil bastard. Look at that fucking cock-sucking demon right there. God damn. Bunch of ass-touching demons those fuckers are. Look at those guys. If I was one of those guys, I'd ride around in a fucking bulletproof car too, just to make sure nobody put a fucking stake in my heart. Look at those guys. Those are fucking vampires. And those are the people that the people of the world think are somehow, the spiritual leaders. Folks, when your spiritual leader looks like the Sith Lord, it's time to reevaluate what spirituality is, okay? When the head of all spirituality in the world looks like the fucking, Emperor Palpatine, join us or die. Together we shall be as one. Strike me down with all your anger. I mean, look at that fucker. That's a fucking Sith Lord. Jesus. Yeah, it's just, I mean, that's my big thing, man. And it's crazy though, because when you're not unplugged from the Matrix, you don't even notice it. I never even really noticed that shit when I didn't really know a lot of what was going on. But there's so many things like that. It's like as soon as you have that veil lifted and as soon as you have that cloud lifted off of your eyes, all of a sudden, the things that you never noticed before that are insane and crazy, you just notice them immediately. All of a sudden, you're like, before you wouldn't even notice the Pope. You probably wouldn't even think about it. You're like, well, I'm not Catholic, and whatever. He's the head of the Catholic order, and hey, the Catholics worship him, and he's their spiritual leader. Hey, that's their business. I don't care. Let them have it. But then once you unplug this stuff, and you take a look, and you go, God damn. That motherfucking Pope is an evil-looking son of a bitch. And don't even get me started on Rev Moon. My God. The guy that you ever seen that speech where the Reverend Moon was saying, the female organ and the male organ is concave. And he's going on this tirade about like the concave structure of the male and female organs. It's fucked up. And another thing I'll mention about Moon, because every time I mention this, there's at least one or two people who've never heard of this and say I'm absolutely out of my mind. But this is absolutely a fact, and I will put every fucking fiber of myself on this. It's an absolute fact. It's openly admitted to. Here it is. The Reverend Sun Myung Moon admits that he has a spirit world communication device and that he communicates with dead leaders, dead presidents, Hitler, Stalin, Andrew Jackson, whoever, and that he has not only what's the word I'm looking for, rehabilitated Hitler and Stalin and these other great leaders and made them moon followers, Moonies, essentially. He's made them spirit world Moonies. But he's also said he has actually had quotes from people like Abraham Lincoln where, Abraham Lincoln says Reverend Sun Myung Moon is is a great leader. Not even fucking kidding. He has some spirit world communication device where he claims that he talks to dead leaders and all these dead leaders love him and support him. Now, I'm not claiming that he doesn't have this device. I mean, if he says he does, he probably does. But come on, man. I mean, how convenient is it for you to be somebody who's the Messiah to come out and say, I have talked to the people in the spirit world, and they have told me that I am in charge, and they love me. Thank you. Send me all your money now. I'll give you a flower. I mean, Mormons do that thing. The baptism of the dead. Yeah. And they do that same thing. What they do is that's another reason why Mormons keep extensive records, not only because Mormonism is, like many religions, largely based on bloodlines. And of course, Joseph Smith, Brigham Young, Charles Taze Russell, who founded the Watchtower Society, all of them are part of the Merovingian bloodline, and all the established world religions have come from these bloodlines. You have a lot of these bloodline members in the Council for National Policy as well. Reverend Moon is the biggest funder of all things Republican and right wing over the last 30 years. That's another fact. If you are in any way, shape, or form involved in the Republican Party in the United States of America, you, in some way, shape, or form, have gotten funding and money from the Reverend Sun Myung Moon. That is a fact. And this is why, you little patriot truth movement following ass clowns out there, this is why I've been up here for over 3 years trying to warn you about following people who tell you to vote for Ron Paul and vote for Rand Paul, because You are following a literal cult that is based in these bloodlines that go back to not only the formation of the Illuminati, but the formation of all world religions. That's why the CMP is important. That's why this information is important. That's why it's important that we get out films about this. But we got a bigger deal on our hands here than just some, oh yeah, Jamie saw Mitt Romney at her work a couple of weeks ago or a month or so ago. Yeah, he was, Mitt Romney. My name is Mitt Romney and I'm a Mormon. I tried to get her. I asked her why she didn't fucking ask him about the magic Mormon underwear. And she said he fucking scurried away like a little rat before she could get to him. That'd have been funny. Little Jamie rolled up going, hey, Mitt Romney, where's your magical Mormon underwear at, Bubba? He'd have hauled ass out of there so quick. It'd have been too funny. That'd have been greatness right there. That'd have been worth getting fired over. I got fired. Bad news is I got fired. Good news is I got to tell Mitt Romney he's a fucking magical Mormon underwear wearing freak. Oh, that's another thing's absolutely true. You all are aware of the magical Mormon. Oh, you don't know about magic Mormon underwear. My goodness gracious. I'm having so much fun today. I'm getting to educate so many people on new things they never heard about. Check this out. Not even kidding you. Not even lying. Mormons have male and female. It's called magical Mormon underwear. I'm not kidding you. They have square and compasses on them, Masonic symbols on them, and they wear them in the bed to basically protect them from spirits and all the rest of this stuff. I'm not even joking. Absolute fucking fact. Magical Mormon underwear. Google it. Not even kidding. Magic Mormon underwear. Not kidding. Magic Mormon underwear. Real thing. You can't make this type of shit up. You can't make it up. You can't do it. Magic Mormon underwear repels bullets, knives, and most importantly, logic. I'm not even kidding you. Look at that little picture I put there. Look. There it is. Look at the cock holster on the dude's version. It's got a cock holster on it. Oh, that is too goddamn funny. Cock holster not included. What do you have to do you have to ascend to the higher realms before you get the cock holster, or do they include that standard? Well, hey, Jamie, if you ever see Mitt Romney again, make sure you ask him about the cock holster, okay? We need to know. We need some hard intel on this cock holster on the magical Mormon underwear. ASAP. Oh, my God, that's out of control. That's fucking funny, dude. Look at that fucking cock holster. And, I mean, what is the female version? The female version looks like it comes with like a vag lock or something. Just like lock. I mean, how wrong is that? Yeah, give the homeboy a big cock holster over there where shit's just bulging out like a fucking, moose knuckle on Mick Jagger or something. And then, homegirl over there's got a vag lock. I'm saving myself for the Lord. Do. I mean, goodness. Oh, man. Yeah. Definitely going to keep you from wanting to have sex with either one of those people. Oh, my goodness. Way out of control. All right. Well, we're going to leave it there tonight for the broadcast. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, being with us this week. I had fun on this show today. I'm glad we got up here and did a show today. I was really burnt and still burnt. Because you do this for so long, man, and it wears on you after a while. And not only that, like I said, I don't want to, I will just assume not do a show. If you ever have days where there's a couple of days and there's not a live show and you're wondering what's going on, just know that the reason that there's not any live shows going on is probably because of one of two reasons. Either we're having technical issues with the stream or something of that nature, which is, very possible, or, I've just gotten to the point where, because some of the news, it's just, like I said at the beginning of the show tonight, I won't ever get up here and allow the news or the topics that are at hand to get me on one of the sides that they want me to be on. And I think that with this issue, with this shooting this week, it's just gotten people back into that divide and conquer system. It's got people back into left and right. And, you know, a lot of the news has been garnered around that this week. And that, you know, it's just more important than ever that we just continue to think for ourselves and maintain our ability to stay right in the middle of things and not be swung on that phony pendulum to left and right, because that's what they want to do and that's where they want us. So there you go. My name is Josh Reeves, and I love each and every one of you. And we will see you next time on the broadcast.